Hello, members of the human family. Today is the 3rd of June 2025. Welcome to the General Durability Podcast. I am Ajman Wugdi in Mohammedia, Morocco, and my guest is Princess Abumbi from Cameroon, and she is here with us to share her vision and the vision of her network, society, her people about creating an eco-village. Welcome, Princess Abumbi. How are you doing?
Thank you so much, Wangdi. I'm doing just great. Thank you. And thank you once more for this opportunity.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much for coming on. Uh, let's start directly into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your person, and how it came to be that you created the NGO and so on. Yeah, start with yourself and going into the Eco Village.
I am Princess Abumbi Prudence from Africa, precisely from Cameroon. I come from the northwest region of Cameroon and from one of the indigenous communities known as Bafut. Bafut is actually one of the largest indigenous communities in the northwest region, and I happen to be a princess from one of the royal families, which is also recognized as the UNESCO World Heritage Site here in my country, Cameroon, in Africa and globally. So growing up as a princess, I have often seen leadership as a rite of passage because I keep on admiring leadership from when my father, the king who has reigned for 54 years, took into leadership during his early ages of about 11 years old. So seeing this and him sharing the stories of early leadership, I felt so motivated and I saw it as a rite of passage that as a king that he is, I am a princess. And most often in indigenous communities, we believe in this wisdom of passing over or handing over wisdom or knowledge to the younger generation. So I took myself as the younger generation who is one of the princes who is supposed to take over this leadership and also contribute in one or the same way. My own contributions came in the direction of sustainability, where I thought of how I can impact my people and the African community positively. And I saw that for me to impact them, I must think of something sustainable on how I can impact them. For this reason, I envision a world where Africa has a voice and the youth have their ways to share their ideas and a market to sell their talents. After envisioning these visions, I saw that these visions are only an idea, but I needed something tangible or sustainable to make these visions achievable. So for that reason, I came out with this inspiration. I call it a vision and a project of the Royals Bafut Eco Village. The Royals Bafut Eco Village is not just an ordinary project, but it is also a vision that is here to sustain, transform, catalyze indigenous and modern communities globally. This eco village is a center where I see as a place where the indigenous and modern world can come together to rewrite the new story about the indigenous and the modern, because looking at the indigenous and the modern, where they have different scripts of story descriptions and how they have been catalyzing communities, it's either the indigenous is neglected or the modern is ignored. So I saw that there was a need that the indigenous cannot be ignored and the modern cannot be ignored. There is a need for both to come together, reunite, and be able to catalyze the communities globally in wisdom, in the passion, in knowledge, in so many activities such as retreats, conference, connecting back to cultures, cultural norms, and the nurturing of talent, sharing, learning, and designing other new ideas. And also, I saw this eco village as a center where it can empower African youths to create more employment also to nurture talents, as it is part of the vision to nurture talents for African youth. I saw that through this center, we can be able to empower women. We often believe that women empowerment is a crucial thing that we all should practice, because when a woman is empowered, nation is empowered. So I also created this center as a place where women can be empowered in order to stand out outstandingly as great leaders and be able to lead in the way that they can. Seeing these visions, so many people from Africa and youth have shown up in diverse ways, finding interest in how we can catalyze and continue exploring these visions. But we have been having some limitations where we launched the Royals Bafut Eco Village on the 7th of March. And those that were involved in the launching of this Royal Eco Village were the King of Bafut was involved, the community members were involved, the elites were involved, the youths were involved, and the organizational team itself, which is Youth and the Future, also was actually involved. During the launching of this Bafut Royals Eco Village, we were able to share the visions with the indigenous elders, the community members, the youths, to make them understand the importance why this project is to be created. And in addition to that, there were also a series of indigenous traditional activities that takes place, such as a youth traditional dance that was presented as demanded by our rights, tradition, and customs, that during such ceremonies, we must be able to sing and dance because it's about celebration. At the end of the launching ceremony, we were able to have some refreshment where we have our traditional meals known as achu. Achu also is one of the World Heritage Sites that was recognized since 2024. It has also been recognized as a World Heritage Cultural Food globally, where it happens to be our traditional meal. It was also eaten there. We drank palm wine. We shared a lot of positive energy. And that was the beginning of the initiation of the commencement of the Royals Bafut Eco Village project.
Very interesting, very interesting. You mentioned so many beautiful things, but especially it's taken to my head wisdom, uh, experience from the elderly, ideas and innovations from the youth, and fusing these together to create something new. I think that's a very good way forward. I think we need that. We cannot neglect the wisdom from the elderly, the indigenous knowledge, like you mentioned this before, indigenous knowledge on one hand, and modern society on one hand. So we have to put these together. This is the most sustainable approach, in my personal opinion, and I see that you are much more advanced in thinking in such area. Yes, indigenous plus modern equal brighter future, positive future. That's a great thing. One question: the 7th of March this year or last year?
No, the 7th of March, 2025.
2025 this year. Yeah, nice. Yeah, so it's official. Yes, Bafut. I googled it and looked at the region and climate. It's very interesting, very beautiful region. Tell us a little bit about the youth in the future. Is it the NGO that will take charge of the eco village, or is it only a part of the brighter vision of the yeah?
Okay, the NGO is just the founder of the vision. This vision is opened. It's an open vision where people are welcome globally to share their ideas, to partnership, to collaborate, and to see how we can build up this vision. It is like most often we always have an author of a book. But when the book is being published, different people read and assess the information. So merely, I am the founder of Youth and the Future, who happens to have been the founder of this vision. But this vision is a global vision where communities, both nationally, internationally, people of interest, youths, individual, funders, and other people are welcome to be part of this vision.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. So it's the youth of the future, you started it as a mean of acting and creating the vision and inviting others locally from Bafut, from Cameroon, from Africa, and from the world. Yes, that's very beautiful. About sustainability. Many people treat this word differently, and yeah, depending on their background and their ideas. What do sustainability mean? For me personally, we are now recording this for the general durability podcast. I call it general durability as an alternative or as an advanced sustainability definition. So I'm adding a lot of. It is a little bit complex. So can you please talk about sustainability in general and eco-village also? Yeah, in relation to eco-village.
When I talk about sustainability about this eco village, it's about coming out with a long-term something, a long-term project where it will not be like I came, I gave money to somebody, and after 1 or 2 days, he must have spent the money. That means something tangible, something that can last for long. Like this eco village, it's a building, it's a structure, it's not an idea. Sometimes ideas are not sustainable. But when we talk about the eco village, it is a structure where people will be able to come together all the times, weekly, monthly, yearly. The eco village is not going somewhere. It is a permanent structure. That means even after our generations, other generations will still be able to benefit from it. And also, when I also talk about sustainability, I'm also talking about the sustainability of this eco village in terms of creating job opportunities, because this eco village intends to help the internally displaced people. My country, Cameroon, has been in crisis for over 8 years. And as a princess who is a leader, it is my right and responsibility to rise up during crisis and see how I can support my people with something that can show up as hope, revive their hope, restore back their joy. So I created this Oko village because we all know that during crisis, people are internally displaced. They can have a coverage there, like those that are renting. Moving from one place to another is not sustainability, but having a permanent home like an eco village where it can host the refugees, it makes life more sustainable for the internally displaced people. And sometimes going around doing hawking along the street and being a street vendor at times is not sustainable. But we are talking of coming out with training centers, vocational training centers, where these people can often access these training centers at any point of a time, and we offer them the training. It is not like the other aspect where today you meet something and tomorrow you're coming, you may not meet it. So this eco village is a project that many people are going to benefit from it, maybe the next generation of over 50 to 25 years. So that is what I mean by sustainability. Not monthly, not yearly, but years and years above.
Yeah, that's great. That's true leadership. You are. I see that you learned quite a lot from your father. Yeah, yeah, because you need to look forward. You need to look, especially in your position as a project developer. Yeah, in my situation also as a project developer. Also, I think multi generations. So. It's not about me. It's much more bigger than myself. So I need to create this division so that others can join. Because when you go out in the streets, not only in Cameroon, so also in developed countries, what we see like France, Germany, the United States, many people are lost. They don't have a vision
Yeah,
for the future, and they all can only see politicians talking about 2 years, 5 years projects, and this doesn't attract the youth because the youth they wanna hope. They want hope. They want to see further. They want to look forward and see, okay, I can see myself in 30 years there. I can see myself in 20 years there. So that's truly beautiful to be working on. Yeah.
In addition to that, my father, King Abumbi II, told me that a society without youth, it's a society without a future. A society without youths who can stand up with sustainable creative ideas is a lost heritage. So we often believe that leadership is in the hands of the youths. That means the success of every society or a country lies in the hands of the youths. So empowering the youth also through this Royals Bafut Eco Village, it's a way of empowering more African generations and empowering other continents with the right things, especially as Africa is striving for change. Change is not being given. We approach change. We accept change. We implement change. We practice change. And gradually people accept change. That change must start from us. Someone like me who is a change maker, I'm not just envisioning change, but I live change. I practice change, I share change. And that explains the reason why part of my practice of this change started with the vision of the NGO, which is Youth and the Future. And it was gradually extended into the construction of the Royals Bafut Eco Village. And from here, we continue to expand this change that we really envision as youth.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So it starts from oneself, and I think I I don't remember his name. Alex, I think. It's from the United States, and he says all the time, ideas have consequences, and ideas are like viruses. So when you develop a beautiful idea and it attracts the minds of people, so it lives in the minds of people. So if even if you as a person something happens to you and you are no longer among us, so that this idea, the vision is in the minds of many others, especially in the youth, because the youth of today are
Yeah,
the leaders of tomorrow. And so if they can carry the vision with them to the future, we will ensure. As part of my projects, I say, oh, we need to work on the survivability of the human race. It's not, yeah, as a survivability. So if the youth have a positive vision for the future, we are in a good place. So yeah. And please go more in details about Eco Village.
yeah.
How are you advancing? What is the place look like? And yeah.
So far, the Eco Village advancement is that after the launching, we were able to initiate a series of ideas such as preparing the area for the construction, because the Eco Village area where the construction is supposed to be set up is made up of a forest area. So we needed to fell down some of the trees. We do the needful. We smoothen the place. We till the soil and we keep everything in proper order. So far already, the felling down of the trees has been taking place for a while, and also traditional indigenous architects have also been preparing some traditional materials that will be used as part of the construction, because the model of this eco village is emerging the indigenous and the modern model together. So that explains the reason why there will be traditional designs at the eco village, as well as there will also be a modern design, because it's all about the indigenous and the modern. But we have some challenges, and the little funds that we had, we were able to do just this little work, and we have not really been able to proceed because we lack these funding opportunities. And we often know that ideas that are nurtured without funding, the ideas gradually dies down. That is why I am really struggling and trying to see if we can reach more people to support us with this vision, because as time goes by and the vision is not being achieved, people will gradually lose hope, people will lose interest, people will start diverting their hope and believing that there is no hope. So I also see this project as a process of healing the community from the crisis. I see that there is no need for me to give up. I need to continue trying. I need to continue collaborating with people and doing that which it takes for me and for my messages to reach the right funders for partnership, funding opportunities, and the collaboration that entails to lead to the successful construction of the Royal Bafut Eco-Village.
Yeah, great. I hope very much that people can see this video and look up your pages. You are present, I think, in Instagram and LinkedIn and so on. I will link your information with the video. One thing you have mentioned before that is deeply very important to me for my project. I'm working with other youth, young Moroccan, yeah, very young Moroccans, so like engineers, and we are working on developing, yeah, in our case, I don't call it a village, but it's a social village. So, and one important thing for me is like architecture influences culture. So where people live influence their behavior. So that this is very important to, to 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 have in mind all the time. How I want the buildings to be
Yes,
designed. How,
important.
yeah, yeah,
Around, there is a need to practice what we grow up into, especially as the vision also involve reconnecting the youths and the African communities back to their roots of origin and their cultural heritage together with their identities, because a lost identity is a lost personality. A lost culture is a lost foundation. That is what we often said in African proverbs.
yeah. That's beautiful, and I think Africans have suffered from this one very much, much more than the sub-Saharan Africans have suffered much more than us North Africans. Talking about Morocco, but we are starting also to lose with modernity. We are losing a lot of our indigenous knowledge and indigenous culture because rapid modernization here in Morocco, I am seeing it now that we are, yeah, losing quite a lot of important things from our heritage. And I saw it also in Germany. So while I was living in Germany, I saw quite a lot that the German population was losing their heritage also very much. And it has an influence on our psychology, our mental health, our social harmony. So for sure, we need like your projects demonstrate, fuse the indigenous with the modern, the wisdom from the old, the enthusiasm and new ideas from the youth together, and fuse traditional architecture with modern architecture together. Yes, and build a beautiful things that can last for several generations. Yeah.
I wanted to mention storytelling, which is part of our culture, like
Yeah, yeah.
in the eco village. Those are part of the activities that would storytelling, other cultural practices, traditional dances, music, talents, dressing in a variety of African regalias, and so many other beautiful things will be involved, where we also look for the opportunities that we can also attend international conferences somewhere to demonstrate this culture. We are open also for invitations for international conferences in other countries to demonstrate our culture so that our African visions as African voices can be heard.
Great, great. Thank you very much for the proposition, and I hope someone will pick it out. And yeah, that's a truly beautiful vision. Thank you very much for coming on this show. Yeah, thank you very much, Princess Abumbi. Yeah,
Thank you once more. And last message, wheresoever you may be watching this message or you may come across this message nationally or internationally, don't forget I am because you are because I am. We ought to be a support system to one another. Support me today and tomorrow I will intend to support you because life should be reciprocated. We, the indigenous community of Bafut, really needs this eco village. So if you can chip in moral, financial, material support to see how we can make this a great success, you have just put a smile on the faces of communities. Thank you.